Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has declined quite strongly from the top that so far formed here in October at around 62.4%, all the way down to 59.3%. So in absolute values, we do have, 61, 60, 59. We basically have a 3% decline in absolute terms. In relative terms, we're looking at round about, 4.8%. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that maybe our B wave rally that we expected for October has already topped. Now, what I talked about in previous updates, Bitcoin dominance obviously is very relevant because it helps us understand the dynamics between Bitcoin and the altcoin sector. So we pay close attention to it. What it really is about is to understand when the rotation from altcoins into Bitcoin happens and when the rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins happens. Very often, if we look at seasonalities, this is our MCO monthly returns heat map. You see that in October, historically, quite bullish, right? Bitcoin dominance is normally quite bullish in October. And already in September, we saw some movements here to the upside. That's where actually a low formed. And normally, we see in October a performance of around 4.4, 4.5%. Now, obviously, at the moment, you see 0.1%, which is more in line with what happened 2014, 2015, 2016. We should not forget, however, that what happened on Friday might have completed all of this, right? Because, I mean, if we just look in here in relative terms, let's say here where the 1st of October started, around 59%, we already moved up 6%, yeah? 6%. And most of it happened on Friday. And we have a rejection from resistance already. That's what we see today in the, in the altcoin sector. We see some recoveries here and there. So I'm just saying, like, what maybe normally would have stretched, throughout October over several weeks might have just happened within a few hours on Friday. And this sort of accelerated flush and reset and rebirth of several altcoins. So anyway, it's something we are very much aware of, that the B wave could have topped already. What certainly is possible at the moment, before we get that decline that we are watching for on the dominance chart. Remember, we're tracking this as a B wave in the yellow count, which makes more sense than the white count, but both are valid technically as a triangle. We're tracking a triangle. So if we're tracking a triangle, then the idea was this is an A, this is a B, and we could get a C wave. Whether the B wave extends a little bit throughout October, maybe even into November, speculative at the moment. I mean, what I said before was that once we have once we have a low on the Ethereum dominance chart and maybe ETH BTC charts, the probabilities increase that we have a top here on Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, it still has room, and remember, B waves can even overshoot. While that would not be ideal, it's technically possible. It's reacted perfectly to the 61.8 retracement. If we get another high, maybe in the white scenario, which is the same scenario, it's just a bit more of an extension in the range. Yeah. If we get another high, the 63.9% level is the next one. It's a 78.6 Fibonacci retracement. So I view this as a range. We had the expected bounce into resistance, which kind of was, you could say, predicted by Elliott Wave more or less, more from seasonalities, because Elliott Wave is not a time-based method, right? We used historical cycle data as well as our monthly returns heat map to determine when we would likely get a bounce, and that was obviously after the market hit our support line here around 57.2%. But what I want to do before we talk about let's just talk about Ethereum dominance, because what I want to highlight is once we have a top here, obviously we could get a decline to possibly 52%, maybe even 48.5%. And that would be the idea, right, for this decline in a C wave. And that could be what many people might call a small mini altcoin season. So that's definitely still on the table here. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but at the moment that would be my assumption. I'll definitely stay close to it. But an additional indicator that will help us understand if Bitcoin dominance has formed the top would be our ETH BTC chart. And what I want to see here first on ETH BTC, this is showing a potential low that formed actually in October here. I need to see a break above the trend line and 5 waves up. Once we have 5 waves up and or a break above the trend line here, when we're far away from that at the moment, well, not too far, but we're not there yet. That could be an indication that also Bitcoin dominance has topped. We're not there yet. Confirmation still outstanding. And also the ETH dominance chart, which looks very, very similar. I would also here watch for a possible 5-wave move up. At the moment, this is also just a 3-wave move so far. 1, 2, 3. We've now reached the trend line. I need another 4-5 pattern. I need another higher low and another higher high. Then we have a first reversal confirmation. I posted already yesterday that with this additional low, this might be the low, the actual low. But let's see if we can break above resistance. So that should give you the key resistance levels to watch and the patterns to watch out for. Hope you enjoyed the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, also make sure you follow us on X for additional charts, news, updates, and much more. You can find the link in the comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.